just firing some dog biscuits, 2 or 3 on the surface. I've seen some carp activity, and I'm here today at Pisces Country Park to make a program on surface fishing for carp. That's when you can see the fish. You fish right on the surface and you can see the fish come up and take the bait. And I'm fishing with dog biscuits, some that I've treated, some that I haven't. I'm using a pole, just a pole with a length of line, no float. So I'm watching for the fish. It's a really exciting way of fishing. So usually you have to get the carp feeding and competing, as always, for the bait, and then you drop your bait. Put that extension on there. You drop your bait into the middle of where they're feeding. But you get the fish competing and you drop your bait in the middle and you look for the carp. You actually visually see the carp. So you have to watch your floating bait. If you look at where I'm fishing, and quite often I can feed just 2 or 3 biscuits around it just to help attract. Oh, that was a good shot. I got 2 right next to it. And the small fish went and took the bait. Now, Pisces Caravan Park is fairly close to where I live. It's just on the border between Norfolk and Cambridgeshire, in the small village of Welney. And it really is a beautiful private country park. Mainly it's a caravan park for residents, but there's a few caravans that they have here that they let out. But the fishing, there's about 3 main lakes and 1 small lake. All good. And today I'm looking for some of the big carp in here. They run up to 20 pounds, but a good average size would be 6 to 8 pounds. So I'm looking now. Can you see there's 1 carp? That's what you have to look. You get the carp to take a biscuit that hasn't got a hook in it, and then quite likely it's going to take your one. And that's what I'm fishing for. And it really is about feeding and getting the fish competing to take the bait. So there's small fish in here. That was a small fish that went for the bait. Then when a carp takes it, you can move the bait a bit. Sometimes you can drop the bait right, if you can see a carp, you can drop the bait right in its head. I can see movements and signs. That was a little fish just taking my bait then. When a big carp comes up, you know. Oh, can you believe that? There's a little, took a big dog biscuit. It was a rudd. I felt the elastic go. Oh, it was a big dog biscuit on there, and the carp, and the rudd took it. Oh, that's unbelievable. What's that? How could that get one of these in its mouth? That's almost impossible, isn't it? I've soaked some of these. I've treated them specially. I'll just slip that back. Especially with a size 10 hook as well. Beautiful rudd. Once a carp get in, they usually push those smaller fish out. Or I can fish with a harder biscuit. I've got a fairly soft one on here at the moment that I can put. It's one that I've treated and soaked, and I can put the hook through it. It's a bit spongy, but I can thread that. I've soaked them overnight and I can thread that through. Make sure that it floats. Just drop it in front of you. You can see it floating. Just got to get the carp competing and taking the bait. I feed all the time, 2 or 3, not too many, just 2 or 3 in the catapult. 2 or 3 out there, and then watch the bait. Try to get your bait amongst them. I'm using those reeds there as a little bit of cover. You know, the carp will skip back in. I don't really want them to see the pole itself, so the carp will skip in and out of those reeds. I've got a bit of line on there so that I'm pushing the dog biscuit just a bit past the pole tip in case the fish can see it, because as they come up to the surface, of course, they're right on the top. Even though the water's a little bit coloured, they would see the pole. Just looking now. Waiting for those fish to move in. Oh, that was a small one. Had me moving though, but there's no big carp there at the moment. It's a small rudd, just taking the bait. Don't need to feed too much. Just really, that was a big carp behind there. Then just took that bait. So ideally, you want to get them taking one biscuit, one or two biscuits of free offerings, then coming for yours. Swing it out again. Swing it just behind the reeds, and all the time really you have to be looking at the bait itself. Wait, if you see the carp come up to take it, then you have to strike. But you can usually see the fish. You can usually just see a big pair of lips coming out of the water, and I can see the carp now. They're just staying back a bit at the moment, just hanging back. There's one coming up now, just coming up behind. That was a small fish. So exciting, this method, when they take. Oh, did you see that one? The lips came up, it just took it. I think I struck a little bit too early. They're staying back a little bit, but I've just got to try and tempt one to come and take that soft bait of mine. So all the time you have to keep your eye on your bait. Otherwise they'll spit it out. If you don't strike, they will spit out the bait. They don't. Quite often carp will hook themselves, but they don't usually hook themselves that easy on this method. They're very, very cautious when they're feeding like this. So 2 or 3 biscuits. Can you see how I've put those biscuits around? That's a small fish. It's a small rudd or something there. They're so close together, and I've got to check which one's mine. So I just move it a little bit, just lift it a little bit. When you hook one, they're hard to hook, but when you hook one, it's usually a good fish. So there's 2 or 3, there's a carp, come up for the pellet behind. So now I've got to look for it to go for, or the biscuit. That's a small fish, that's a small fish. Don't be tempted to strike. They quite often know. But sometimes if they see a small fish going for the bait, they will bully in and try and think, oh, it's going to steal my bait, I'm going to have a go for it. And now and again you can just lift up and drop your bait back in. Got to make sure it floats. It takes too much water, it will sink and you have to put a new bait on. That one's just sunk under, so I'm going to put a new bit of bait on. All the time, you have to keep doing things, keeping an eye on the fish. See, that bait now is sinking. Takes so much water, they only float for so long. The fish have really torn it to bits. Look at that. The small fish have really ripped it to pieces. Of course, then the hook won't support it. So you need then to. There's still carp out there feeding. Can I fool them? Can I catch them? It's always the hard bit. Hooking them. I can definitely still see fish out. I usually start by putting 2 or 3 baits out and then going out after it. Sort of giving the fish a chance to come to it. Don't fire too many in, just a few. Plenty of small fish there, those little digs that you see. Now that was a bigger fish, that bigger. And drop my bait in behind. Just looking, sometimes you can drop it in and the fish will come straight away and take it. There's a big carp there now. Oh. It's a big fish there. Little ones are taking my bait though. Oh, that was close. I think I'm going to have to, I'm trying to fish with soft prepared baits today, but I think I'm going to have to put, there's lots of small fish, so I'm going to drill one of the hard baits and show you how to to hook, use a bait drill to, and then use the hook to go through another little fish on then as it went down to the bottom. So we take one of these, just take one of these pellets and a bait drill and just drill a hole through the side of the biscuit. So then you can fish with a hard biscuit. Just drill it at an angle, like that as you go through. Just enough to put the hook through the corner. So I've just gone through at an angle through the biscuit. It's quite stiff there, so that might deter those small fish. The big fish will still take it. They love it. And then I can just put the hook through the corner. Sometimes they love to take soft ones rather than hard, but if there's lots of little fish about, then you have to put a hard biscuit on. So let's just get that nicely through that corner piece. Just hooks through like that, leaving all the hooks shown. Of course it floats because it's very, very buoyant. Now this one hasn't been soaked at all, so it will float quite easily and should deter those small fish. One or two of the carp, they're just staying back a bit. Carp are crafty fish, they really know what's going on. They've probably been caught on this method before, some of them, but you have to overcome their natural fear and let the greed take command. And you can see now I've put that harder pellet. There's 2 or 3 pellets there together, so I'm waiting now for a carp to move up. Take hopefully the free offering. It might take mine first, so I've really got to watch it. Still lots of small fish there. So lots of signs of activity that there's fish there. All the time, just 2 or 3 pellets, keep the fish coming. That was a bigger fish. Is it going to come to mine? Yes, it's come to mine. Oh dear, that's a big one. Oh, it's gone berserk. That is a big fish. God alive. That is a big fish. Gone right round the back of those reeds straight away. Even though I've got a really heavy elastic on. Oh, did you see that take? That was incredible. It's just in those reeds, just at the back there. Just trying to pull it out. Get it out into the open. Oh dear. So be careful when you're using a pole also. It's fraught with danger when you're into these reeds. Just bring it back. I might even lose this one, but I can see it out there. It's come out now, it's out of the reeds. Got it out of the reeds. Got it on the top now. I'm really giving it some stick. Oh dear. It's fantastic fishing. I said it was exciting when you hit them, didn't I? Just got it right around the back. Now I've got to try and get it through them reeds. Did you see how it took the... First of all, it took the... I might put another pole section on. First of all, it took the loose offerings, and then it went and took the bait. So now I'm going to try and bring it round those reeds. Lovely big fish. Just caught in there now. Come on out. The good thing is I've got no float to catch up. It's right in those reeds. Now, big fish. Just putting a bit of pressure on it. Come on, it's right on the top on those reeds. It's out again. I'm going to try and get it round the front and play it. Round the front. Away from the reeds. It's a good fish. I might have to move a bit in a minute. Yeah, just creeping it round now. Oh, it's fantastic. Really big fish. Big fish on the surface. I've got a strong elastic. I've got number 18 elastic in there. It's a purple Fox hollow elastic. See, it's not, you can see it's not coming out much, but it mustn't because there's so many reeds there. I've got the fish round now. Took some doing though. Didn't take long to hook one though, did it? And lovely, and although this pole is really basically a match pole, you can still use elastics up to a size 20. It's a beautiful pole. Nice and light, but very strong. I'm just easing this fish round now. Just trying to just tire it a little bit, but it's a big fish. Caught a glimpse of it. I think it's a big common. I'm not sure. It's out in the lake now. Once you get it away from those reeds, but didn't it put up a fight. It took some getting out. But because I'm using just line and no float, there's not so much to get caught up. But it's still not in yet, and it's still going. Look at that fish go. Oh, God. That is a big fish. Oh, that's a beautiful fish. Just let the elastic do its work. Don't try and put too much pressure on it early, because you'll lose the fish. And when you come out like this, you only fish for 1 or 2 fish normally. Just looking for 1 or 2 quality fish. Just letting that's a nice thick elastic, and I'll go through the rig. It's not that complicated, but I'll go through it. Once we get this fish in, I'll just show you all about the rig and the biscuits and a little bit of technical stuff, but it's nice to catch a fish so quickly. You see, I'm taking my time with it because it's a good fish. This sort of method is what you do to catch the odd big fish. You don't catch hundreds, but it's just because you can see what's happening. You saw how the fish went for the bait. You know, it just adds to the excitement. You see the fish feeding on the loose offer, and you think, oh, it's going to take mine in a minute. But I can't get this one to tire. I'm using a really strong line though, big hook, size 10. It's a real powerful hook. I'm going to ship back gradually and just take off. With big fish you can take off, if you want you can take off 1 section at a time. Just to make things easier, just come back in, take 1 section off, just come back. You can see how strong they make these poles nowadays, although it's a match pole. I mean, I was really giving it some stick as the fish got into the reeds. I'm just bringing it back towards me, but always being aware that I may have to add sections on. Just coming back. Doesn't want to give up, does it? It really wants to keep fighting all the time. Just don't come out easily. But the elastic is doing its job now. It's coming back closer and closer, but I'm always got to be aware that that fish is going to make a big lunge and try and get away. Particularly near the end. There it goes again. Try and keep it away from them weeds and obstructions. How I got it out of there, I don't know. Oh, putting so much pressure on this fish now. It all happened so quickly. The fight, when it took the bait, it was just an eruption and the elastic was flying out. It's nice. Probably 5 or 6 pound common. Really strong fish. Lovely looking fish. I can see from here it's a beautiful looking fish. Terrific, terrific. This is the excitement, this is the fun of fishing. The real fun is playing the fish. That's what I love, the excitement, playing the fish. Seeing the fish take its tiring now though. It's tiring now. Virtually ready for the net. Look at that, I can see it. Oh! Dear. What action. Oh, it's maybe a bit bigger, maybe a 6 pound common. It's a bit bigger than I thought it was. Oh, it's found a new lease of life now. Going again. Oh. What a lovely fish. Oh dear. Oh, that is bigger than I thought. Oh, phew, dear. What a fight. The carp's tired and I'm tired as well. That is a big common carp. Only just hooked, like just in the skin. If I was using any other method to catch it without elastic, I think I'd have lost that. It was just hooked inside of the mouth in the skin. Could have easily have. I'm going to try and hold it up carefully for the camera because it's a beautiful fish. Probably about £6, maybe a bit more. A lovely big common carp caught on the surface. Wow, that was exciting. Now when you're fishing like this, when you do, if you can, I've picked a swim where down to the right where I've just caught that first fish, there's some reeds and cover, and also to my left there's a big overhanging tree. So I've been feeding both lines. What happens when you catch a fish like this? You saw the disturbance, so you need to swap from one line. So I'll now go to fish at the tree, still feed in the reeds, and get the fish back there and get them feeding confidently. There's already one or two back there now, so I'm going to just try to see if there's any up by that tree there. We haven't disturbed that area, so that drilled dry biscuit, you wouldn't think the fish would take that, would you? Seemed to work very well. Just drilling it through the corner and the hook just hangs perfectly. Of course there's plenty of hooks showing then as well. Right, it's a bit awkward, you have to sort of unship your pole 2 or 3 times, but it doesn't matter. You're only catching 1 or 2 big fish, so you don't need to be shipping it in and out all the time. As I go out, I'm just going to ship on the extra sections. I've been feeding there all the time. I've seen some carp coming up. Can I fool another one? It's what it's all about, just fooling them, just for a split second. They take the bait and you fool them. Let's see if we can catch one. I can see there's plenty of activity out there. Might need to put all the sections of pole on there, 14.5 metres. And then just flick out. Oh, I could see a carp then, I think I disturbed it. It's lovely because you can drop the biscuit. Oh, one took it straight away, that was incredible. Come up and went for it straight away. A little bit of rubbish on my line. I sort of just tried to pull into it because they've been feeding. But I see a big carp come up and take it straight away. It's fabulous. Got to watch it though there because of those reeds. Just really got to watch that area, the trees. Another one there. Several carp there. Lots of activity on the surface. I'm terrified that they're going to go into them trees. Really got to pull. If one takes it, I'll have to pull really hard. It's all. Oh, I got him! Oh, I got him! Oh, I took it straight away. Oh, pulling hard just to get him. It came straight up. Came straight up and took the biscuit. Managed to get him away though. Oh dear. Once you get them into open water, then you can let the elastic do its job, but because I've been feeding it, and it's been taking all the loose offerings. It's what I always say about fishing. It's all about feeding, about getting the fish confident. Once they're confident, then you can catch them. Got him out in the middle now. Probably doesn't even know he's hooked yet. Dragged him out into the middle. That was quick, wasn't it? It can happen like that sometimes, and usually, I mean, it's probably just past the middle of the day now, but this sort of fishing, usually if you do it in the evening, it's even better. the later it gets, the more exciting and the more fish you catch. Just really, look at that powerful elastic doing its job, keeping the fish up. Just letting it tire, take your time with it. That really worked well though, letting that peg rest, letting that one rest. I've really got confident, and straight as soon as I went into it, I've got a fish. I think this one's ready to come in now, but I really pulled on, it's a lovely powerful pole, pulled on that fish really hard, got him to come out into the open straight away. It didn't even know, I don't think it even knew it was hooked. I'll try and keep it away from the other fish so it doesn't scare them. They're really feeding well now on these floaters. All you need really is a packet of dog biscuits. Probably cost you about £2 from Sainsbury's, and that'll do you 3 or 4 trips, Sainsbury's or Tesco's or wherever. So it's a really cheap way to fish. Come right under my feet now. Really in control of this fish. Oh, it's another, probably even bigger than the last one, a beautiful fish. Really yanked on it hard. Oh, that's a lovely looking, real slim, lean looking fish. Another one safely in the net. Oh, that is bigger than the last one, I think. Oh, that is a big, long, lean fish. Oh, God, look at that. That is some fish. Look at the size of the tail on that. No wonder that went. Oh, I've got such heavy gear, such heavy elastic. You take the hook out first. Just inside its mouth, I think. I didn't see it properly, but yeah, just hooked it just in the lip. Got my disgorger. Nothing's in the right place because I keep twisting back, round, backwards and forwards. So everything's difficult. Just get my disgorger down there. Try to do everything, either use an unhooking mat or do everything with the fish in the net. You know, don't put the fish on dry ground. Well, I wanted to show you some technical stuff, but the fishing is so good. Let's have a look at this one. Another big common. Lovely bright orange tail. Must show this one to camera. A bit of grass. It'll decide to fight now it's out of the water. You can just feel them really tension up. So I'm holding it as tight as I can. I don't want to drop the fish. There. Don't usually like a lot of bright lights, but look at that. Another beautiful common carp. What a way to catch them. Terrific. There's been so much action that I haven't really been able to show you the rig. Well, the rig isn't really a rig, it's just a length of line with a good strong hook and properly tied knots. And I'm going to run through how I tie a spade end hook. Now the hooks I'm using today, these ones here, which are a fox carp feeder, a really strong forged hook. You're catching big fish on the top, so you must have a strong hook, and this is a size 10, so big hook. Taking one out of the pack. The line, once again, you need a strong line, high-tech line, because you've got elastic, so you don't need a line that stretches. High-tech line is much stronger for its diameter than a normal mono. And the line, you'll notice, is white. If you look at it, it's a white line. So it's more difficult for the fish to see. If you get a dark line on the surface, they see it more easily. So, and probably something like, well over a metre, a fair length of line. So you can flick past your fish. This knot took me about 2 or 3 years to learn, so I don't expect you to learn it in one easy lesson. But basically, you take a length of line, you take your hook, and at the spade end part of it, just put a length of line sort of So there's about half an inch protruding from the end there. Then bring round the other end, so you form a circle. You'll probably have to keep rewinding this so that you can get some idea what I'm doing. So you bring it round into it, you form a circle, and the other tag, something like about an inch, is not that important. And then you take part of this loop and you wrap it round, take it away from yourself. You have to trap that piece of line first, that piece there. You have to trap it underneath and just take it away from yourself there. And something like about, probably, I usually do about 14 turns, working down the shank. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you can see it's nice and neat on the shank there. And then you get hold of that small tag and you have to pull, it's a knotless knot, and you have to pull it all the way through. Usually wet it a little bit, but pull it, start it with your teeth and then pull it all the way through. So it comes all the way through. You definitely won't be able to do it immediately. So it comes all the way through. Make sure that that line is coming out under the hook there. I usually use a pair of pliers on this end. I can use my teeth because they're pretty good. They're pretty strong. If you see that now, I'll just trim that off for you. It's a perfectly tied, it's a knotless knot. But you can see it's perfectly tied and it hangs dead straight. It hangs dead straight, really strong. I don't know if you've experienced when you've struck and you've come back with a little pigtail on the end of your line and no hook. Well, if you can learn to tie it this way, you get no pigtails. The hook never comes off. So there you've got the hook, the length of line, the other end. So we've got about 1 metre there. The other end, all you do is just an overhand loop. Not a double granny knot, an overhand loop. That's where you fold the line round your hand like that, so you get a loop, and you take that loop away from you and you bring it back through. You bring it away and back through, and if you look at it, this is an figure of 8 overhand loop. If you look at it now, can you see you've got that number 8 there, and just pull it tight. Make sure you wet it. Just pull it tight. And that's sort of probably about 95% knot strength, so it's a really strong knot. Figure of 8 overhand loop, don't forget it. Let's go and catch some more fish. Such a simple method this, isn't it? You know, you've got a piece of line and a hook, but the real secret is the pole, because you notice how I can drop that bait right almost on the fish. You can't do it with any other method. You can't do it the same with rod and line. I can drop that bait right on the fish. Just put this. I think I need the full 14.5 metres on here though, but it's a beautiful light pole. Just round where I put that last baited. I've got to watch here because of the trees, I can see one swirling straight away. You can almost sometimes look, oh, there's a big fish just flashed then. Do you know, it come up, it must have seen the hook, because it came up and it left it. Must have seen the hook or something scared it. I saw sort of it was very, very light, probably a big common carp, just come up behind the bait. Didn't take it though. So just watching. Those fish can sense that that bait's in the water. They can see it there. You'll be amazed what they can see. Try and... If I go near to those trees, I could probably hook one, but oh, I took it out of his mouth. Oh dear. I took one right out of his mouth then, but I've just dropped another one Just dropped it straight back on again. Oh, oh, out of his mouth again. Oh, loads of bites on this. Back in again. Is it going to come back? Probably wonders why the dog biscuit goes to eat it and it suddenly disappears. Might need to feed again. Just must all the time keep feeding, because that's what gets them confident. Sitting wrong for feeding, really, sitting this way, but I'll manage. Let's put 4 in this time, 4 biscuits. Yeah. Want those fish? Maybe another 4. Just let's get them excited. It's perfect conditions. I mean, we've had a really warm spell of weather, so the water's warmed up. It was very cold, but it's really warmed up. I just saw a big head coming out from. Oh, I didn't take it. Just saw a big head come out and it swirls all around my biscuit, but it didn't take it. Can't look at the camera all the time, so I'll be looking at this biscuit to hit the fish. But there was a fish came up then, and it was obviously a bit wary. Sort of nudged the biscuit, but didn't take it. Just thrown it back. You can keep moving it about. Oh, there's another one having a go at it. Oh, so exciting, this method. It came up, looked at it, left it. Oh, oh dear. I didn't feel the fish, but I struck just as it went for the bait. Do you know what, they're so crafty. Just some of them are just hitting the bait. I think when you drop it on if you can just drop it on their heads, keep the line off the water so they don't see the line. Just try and keep a little bit. They're probably used to seeing a lot of line on the water, and of course with this method they don't see much line. There's only a tiny bit. So when they come up behind the, oh, that's again. I think it's just one fish, but oh, that is so crafty. It's just nudging the bait. Such excitement. Is it going to take it? It's not a matter of just going in and catching one. It's just all the time you're working as if you're normal fishing. You're working, you're feeding, you're watching the fish. Knowing when it does take, it'll be a big fish. Let's just try a few more. They do get scared sometimes. They just get scared when there's an odd fish splashing. More pellets. Get them dog biscuits in there. Oh, that one took it. Do you know, and they seem to know. It took that biscuit. I just fired it out. It took that biscuit straight away. But it keeps leaving mine. Come on. It came up. I fired them biscuits in. And it came up. Fish came up and just took the loose offerings, the free ones, without the hook. But all it did was bash mine with the hook. Can you believe that? But fish are crafty, aren't they? They're not easily caught. That's why we love fishing. That's why we love to go fishing, because of the action. There's loads of action on this one. Isn't it great just to see what the fish are doing? You see them coming up. Ooh, another one. I fired some bait in and it come up and took my biscuit. I can see the fish just below the surface now. Took my biscuit and go on. Can hear this odd slurp as they're taking the bait. do I need to go closer to that tree? Dicing with death. Watching just for one to come out. Once they start to take off the top, once they come round just starting to take, then just be ready to strike. Think sometimes some are a little bit more cautious than others and harder to catch. But that's the real excitement of it. There's one out there splashing now. Notice I keep moving the bait, don't keep it still. Lift it and drop it. Quite often they take just as you drop it in the water. Oh, there's one there. One at my bait, a big head just appeared. One's going to take it, I'm sure. I see one just over by the trees. Hey, took it! I got it! Oh, dear. Oh, where is it? Oh my God! I'm pulling as hard as I can. Oh! I said I was dicing with death. I went right by them trees. I got it though. Oh, there's a big fish. Oh, God! Oh dear! Oh, that is going some. That one. Ooh. Really had to pull hard to get that. See how hard I had to work for it? All the time, and then moving the bait, doing different things. Oh. I should be feeding really, but this is a big fish. So I'm not going to feed, I'm going to try and get it in. Shipping back. I don't know how I managed to keep it away from that tree. I was right close to that tree and pulling like anything. God, can you tell I'm excited? It's fantastic fishing. Really is. Big fish on the top. Don't know what it is, and then you think, oh, how big is it? What is it? What was it? Oh, another, looks like a big mirror this time. We've had them commons in a mirror and then another big mirror. Oh. You never tell what you're going to catch here. It's such a fabulous water. It's not a commercial water. It's not artificially stocked. These are all naturally stocked fish. So it's not somewhere where you come and catch loads and loads of fish. You really have to work at it. Just this method is just... Oh, oh dear. Just the best for selecting the big carp. They do run up to sort of, there is the odd 20 pounder in here, but they're a little bit crafty. You usually catch them late at night or late in the evening. Look at that elastic working. It's been brilliant though, we've lost no fish so far. Oh! Oh dear. You can't catch these fish with any other method than the pole really. It's the best way. You're right over the fish. And of course if they take the bait and you miss them, you can just drop it back on their heads and sometimes catch them again. Oh, I nearly lost that. Nearly bashed it with my... Where is it? Oh, got mad. What a powerful fish. Oh, giving it some stick now. Oh, it's a big one. Oh, what a fish. Oh, I need to get some longer arms, I think. Just keeping control of the fish all the time. Oh. I tried to ambush it then. Look at that go. You'd think it'd be tired by now, wouldn't you? Carp are such an exciting fish to catch. not been able to get his head up yet. Oh, this is fishing, proper fishing. Oh, just don't want to give up. fighting all the time. This time I think I'll just get his head up. No, it's a big fish. One of the biggest of the day so far, I think. Certainly one of the strongest. It's not coming in easy, is it? Whew. Gotcha! Swam straight in the net. Lovely. Oh, that is a problem. Oh yeah, that's a lovely big mirror. Just hooked in the lip. Just inside the mouth. God. How exciting is this fishing? Whew, dear. Just let me show him to camera. Oh, really wants to fight now. He's fighting in the water, he's fighting in the net as well. I must just show this fish to camera because it's such a strong, powerful fish. Must be getting on for 8 pound, I should think. Beautiful, big mirror carp. Come on, let's go and catch another one. There still seems to be plenty of fish out there. I've already partly drilled this next biscuit. It seems to be working better. I did prepare some biscuits. All you do is, if you put some, say, a few biscuits in a polythene bag, and then about a cupful of water in it and leave them overnight, then you get these sort of softer biscuits. Oh, I just heard a big one. That you can just put a hook through quite easily. They're very, very soft, but there's a lot of rud out there and they're tearing into the bait, so just a bit up. So I've decided to use my drilled method. There you are. Just a drilled, a bit more buoyancy anyway with that. What happens is the hook will take a little bit of the weight and sort of try to submerge the biscuit, so it wants to be as buoyant as possible. These joints on. There's 1 or 2 carp swirling out there again, and you can feel the excitement inside you as you go out. You think, oh, is it going to take it? So soft ones you can use quite often, and quite often they work if you haven't got small fish pestering you all the time. Yeah, just shipping out joint at a time. God, this is a brand new pole for me. Fox. It's an envoy match. First real test I've given it. This feels beautiful, nice and stiff and strong. Handled those carp really well. So just drop that biscuit. I've dropped it into for me, a darkish area so I can just see it. A white biscuit shows up better if you've got a reflection, if you've got a dark reflection in the water. So I've just dropped that in there. But I've got to get those, like last time, you've got to get the fish feeding and then see where they're feeding, and you can lift the bait up, drop it, do all different things with it. Will they come to it? Sometimes it's a matter of just waiting for a little while. Almost like sitting watching a float, except you're watching a floating biscuit. Still something visual, something that you can see, and I'm watching those biscuits that I've put in drift down with the wind, drifting down with the wind and helping to draw the fish up into the area that they'll always end up where the bait's going in. They might start taking them a few metres below with the wind taking them, but they'll always come forward because they're greedy. They'll always come forward. I've just seen one near the reeds. That's close for me though to try and get it. Shall I try and get it? That's really close. Can I tempt it? Right by the reeds, that one. Oh, it's took it. Oh, got it. Oh dear. Oh, it's gone straight in the reeds. Oh, God. Oh, it's gone into the reeds. I've got it out. I've got it out. God, it's going. See how you can do it? You can drop it right on the fish's nose. Oh dear. Real excitement. Saw it take the loose offerings. Dropped my biscuit right on his nose and took it. God, that's really going, this one. Oh dear. Wow. I don't think, when I get this fishing, I don't think we'll have time to catch anymore. Just so exciting. What a day's fishing, surface fishing for carp. Have you ever seen anything like it? And of course you can use other baits, you can use bread, you don't have to use biscuits. Good, because bread, quite often ducks will come and take bread, but biscuits are quite solid and you can use the hard ones that other small fish don't take. Whereas if you put bread in, small fish can take it. Oh dear. Can't believe I've caught the fish so quick today. You know, almost as soon as I've gone in to do it, drop the bait, they've fooled them. And it's what I always say, I don't need to, I'm just going to feed again, I don't need to feed anymore, do I? This is going to be the last fish. This is a great fish to end the programme on. So we call this our last fish. But it's been so exciting. And that one's, they've just, all the time the fish have come so quickly. And it's, as I said, it's what I always say about fishing. It's feeding, it's most important. If you didn't, say I didn't put a dog biscuit out there, then I wouldn't get any bites. It's only because you put some out there, free offerings, they start to take them, they get excited while they're taking, they compete, they think, oh, Charlie's going to get the next one, I better get in here. And that's how you catch them. It's another mirror carp by the looks of it. Lovely fishing. See that elastic, strong, powerful elastic. Remember, just use that hollow elastic. So all you've got to think about with this is the knots, how to tie your knots. Make sure you see I've tied them today. There's no way the fish are going to get off. Use a good strong line, 0.20, which is, it's about 8 or 9 pound breaking strain. So you can really get a 20 pound fish out with that sort of tackle. Tie the knots properly, a good strong hook. All these things add up to no fish getting away. We haven't lost any fish. Every time we've gone in, we've caught a fish. There, it's hooked perfectly. You can see the hook perfectly through its nose. Oh, and another lovely fish. This is another big mirror carp off the surface. Oh dear, lovely. Fantastic condition too. Oh, you just let it calm. Oh, the hook come out, but I could see it was perfectly hooked in the mouth. And there, another fantastic fish, mirror carp, to finish the programme. What a day's fishing. Surface fishing for carp with dog biscuits. Fantastic.